I think in the interest of time, I would like to invite the four speakers for today to give a 30-second wrap-up around the question of how do you think your networks can be strengthened moving forward. So just a 30-second way to wrap up the session as we come to the end. How do you think your networks can be strengthened? And perhaps Antonia, you can start.
Sure. Sorry, hopefully I didn't use all the time. So yeah, I think that an important way for us to really strengthen the work that we do is to really continue building the networks. We as at ESCOPE are a member, are an umbrella organization which is member of other networks like the ones that I mentioned in my presentation earlier, and I would be very happy to continue the exchange with the people that we also heard presenting today. I would be very happy to exchange on the different perspectives on the topic. I personally have learned a lot through my participation in today's conference, and I hope that we can support each other by indeed exchanging knowledge and trying to share moments to really develop new skills that are necessary to tackle this challenge.
Thank you, Antonia. Katerina?
Yeah, well, I agree with Antonia, and I guess it's very important to have conferences like today to do studies, what is presented by Timo and overall. So we know the instruments, so we know we have so great pilots. So you showed pilots from all over the world, Maggie and also Antonia from the Netherlands and from Spain, and we know them, so really to upscale them and to show how it would work and to really work for a gender just policy, because we see great policy instruments like the EU gender equality strategy, but we do not have coherent policies. That I think we have to insist and to have to strive much more on the policies and also to transfer gender knowledge to the policy level. So that's a really important and ongoing process.
Thank you, Katerina. Timo?
Yeah, so I think very important remark with the politics from a Eurocentric perspective or German-centric perspective. We have some networks for community energy actors which do important and good work. Of course, you can always improve all structures. It's not so easy to integrate very different and decentralized actors in such networks. I think it's even the more important question in Germany and Europe, how this community energy projects actors can act themselves into the society to have a more open impression for the people that they can participate here. And what we can learn from the sessions today is that it's useful to take a look in other countries like Australia and other country examples which were presented today, what we can learn from there. And that's why I feel our study project to make this international comparison between access possibilities and the nexus between gender and community energy. This is kind of strengthened for me now after the discussion, and I think we should go on with this.
Thank you, Timo. And Dr. Maggie?
Yes, thank you. I think for Energia, we continually need to build the evidence. Unbelievable as it is, we're still always asked to make a case for women. In some cases, it might be justifiable, but in most cases, you'd think we've done that enough, but we still need to build that evidence. Listening to the presenters here, I think there's a lot of learning that can happen between the North and the South, even though our problems might seem very, very different. You know, Energia has been there since 1996, so it actually is an older member of this grouping, has got a long-standing experience that I think the North can also draw from. And equally, we can draw from the North some good examples of what we can do, and even work collaboratively to change the sector. And another thing is to be continually responsive to changes. And in part, that's why I also presented on COVID. We're always faced with changing landscape, and we need to continually be gathering the evidence. I guess that's why we need to still gather evidence in some cases to continue to respond to new challenges and remain relevant. And finally, I think a challenge that we face as networks, particularly advocacy networks, is when does the advocacy becomes policy and action? And that is a connection that's very difficult sometimes to make, because we have less control over the policy. And even when the policies are made, they're sometimes not implemented. And the more we can push for that, and the more we can showcase that our advocacy and our networking has led into concrete action, the more we can change the space for women. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maggie. And I'd like to once again take the time to thank all our speakers today for sharing their challenges, their successes, as well as their expertise, and sharing their knowledge with us in this very interesting webinar. I'd like to thank the audience for attending. And I would like to thank our host for today, the World Wind Energy Association, for having us today. And at this time, I'd like to hand over to Ibrahim, who will direct us to the next session.